Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the April 21st, 2026 meeting of the Maplewood Township Committee. I'm going to read the statement pursuant to Section 5, Chapter 231, Public Laws 1975. This is to state for the record that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by posting and maintaining the annual notice of regular meetings on the bulletin board of the municipal building, by mailing the annual notice of regular meetings for 2026 to the News Record and Star Ledger in December 2025, and by filing said notice in the office of the Township Clerk.
Ms. Adams? Here. Ms. Collins-Colding?
Here.
Mr. Daffis?
Present.
Ms. Herman?
Here.
Mayor DeLuca.
Here.
Whereas Chapter 231, Public Laws 1975, commonly known as the Open Public Meetings Act, requires that all meetings of public bodies be open to the public. And whereas Section 7A provides that the governing body has the discretion to permit, prohibit, or regulate the active participation of the public at any meeting, and whereas it's a desire of the governing body to comply with the provision of this act, same time to conduct its business in an orderly and expeditious manner, now therefore be resolved by the Township Committee, the Township of Maplewood, that it does hereby prohibit, except as set forth in the formal agenda, active participation in the deliberations of the governing body by the public, except as otherwise prescribed by law, does limit the public to the observations of the actions and discussions of the governing body at all of its regular and special meetings.
So moved.
Ms. Adams? Ms. Collins-Colding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca.
Yes. Thank you. Please join us in a salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this evening we're going to start out with proclamations. We have 4 that we'll be reading. We then have board and committee appointments, and we're adding a reappointment to the Arts Council. We'll have a presentation on our watershed inventory report, and then we'll go to our first public comment, which is on agenda items only. After that, we have 4 ordinances on final passage. After each ordinance is read, there'll be a public hearing, both here, anyone in the room and on Zoom. And we will have a township discussion, and then there'll be a motion and a second to vote. We then move to new ordinance, introduction on ordinances. We have 5 ordinances on introduction. We'll go to department reports, elected official reports. We have 3 discussion items. We're going to be talking about the 2026 sewer fee, the commercial property assessed clean energy program, CPACE, and then the request from SOMA Shuttle Working Group. We have a consent agenda after that. We have a number of items, resolutions to pay bills, refund certain fees, and then we also are voting on a cannabis renewal license for Elevated by Cannabis Lady. Lastly, we'll have our second public comment meeting, public comment session on any subject matter, and then we will adjourn. So with that, I'm going to ask Deputy Mayor Herman to do the first proclamation on Diversity Month.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a proclamation to celebrate Diversity Month. Whereas Celebrate Diversity Month was established in 2004 and takes place each April to recognize and honor the diversity of the world around us. It is a time to understand our differences, be it gender, race, ethnicity, faith, sexual orientation, and other factors, while honoring the common essence of humanity. Celebrate Diversity Month aims to get people to foster a deeper understanding of others, regardless of who they are, what they are, or how they live. And whereas the Township of Maplewood is a welcoming community that remains committed to the principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion, as reflected in its advisory committee appointments, proclamations, resolutions, budgets, and overall approach to governance. And whereas the Township recognizes and uplifts diverse communities and experiences through annual observances and proclamations, including Black History Month, Women's History Month, Pride Month, Transgender Day of Visibility, Arab American Heritage Month, Autism Acceptance Month, Juneteenth, Haitian Flag Day, and Jewish American Heritage Month, among others. And whereas these recognitions create opportunities for education, reflection, and community engagement, strengthening understanding and connection among residents. Now, therefore, I, Malia Herman, Deputy Mayor of Maplewood, on behalf of Victor DeLuca, Mayor of the Township of Maplewood, and the rest of the Township Committee, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2026 as Celebrate Diversity Month in the Township of Maplewood, and encourage all residents to participate in community events, support local businesses, engage with their neighbors, and embrace the opportunity to learn from the diverse cultures and perspectives that make Maplewood a vibrant and inclusive community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Arbor Day, and I'll read that. Whereas Arbor Day was founded by J. Sterling Morton in Nebraska to promote tree planting for fuel, shade, and windbreaks on the treeless plains, the first celebration on April 10th, 1872 resulted in over 1 million trees planted, establishing it as a tradition focused on conservation, environmental beautification, and future-oriented action. Whereas Arbor Day is now observed nationwide and in New Jersey is celebrated on the last Friday in April, which falls on April 24th, 2026. And whereas trees enhance the beauty of our community, increase property values, and are a vital resource, providing oxygen, improving air quality, conserving water, preserving soil, and supporting wildlife. And whereas trees also reduce energy costs by providing shade and windbreaks, moderating temperatures, and helping to prevent soil erosion caused by wind and water. And whereas Maplewood annually plants hundreds of trees along our streets and in our parks, and I might say that this Saturday we'll be providing residents with tree seedlings if they'd like to come to the DPW, and that starts at 8 a.m. Now, therefore, I, Victor DeLuca, Mayor of the Township of Maplewood, on behalf of the Township Committee, do hereby proclaim April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day in the Township of Maplewood, and urge all residents to celebrate Arbor Day and support efforts to plant, nurture, and protect trees and woodlands throughout our community. And next we will go to Mr. Daffis with the Parliamentary Law Month.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, and good evening, everyone. Proclamation celebrating Parliamentary Law Month. Whereas this is the birth month of Thomas Jefferson, author of the first American Manual of Parliamentary Procedure in 1801, it is fitting that we honor him and reflect upon the importance of parliamentary procedure in democratic organizations. I will add, especially right now. Whereas on this eve of the birth month of Henry Martin Robert, author of Pocket Manual of Rules of Order for Deliberative Assemblies, also known as Robert's Rules of Order, which we try to employ successfully here during our meetings. First published in 1876, it is a worthwhile time to honor him and to celebrate his contributions to the field of parliamentary procedure. Whereas Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, is the most widely recognized and used parliamentary authority in public and private organizations throughout the world. Whereas it is timely to reflect on the importance of parliamentary procedure in meetings in providing for civil discourse, protecting individual rights, ensuring fairness, and maintaining order. Whereas the National Association of Parliamentarians has, by adoption of a standing rule, designated the month of April as Parliamentary Law Month. Whereas the National Association of Parliamentarians is committed to educating leaders throughout the world in effective and fair meeting management through the use of parliamentary procedure. And whereas the National Association of Parliamentarians is globally recognized as the premier provider of parliamentary leadership, whose mission it is to provide education and resources to enable efficient and democratic decision-making through the effective use of parliamentary procedure. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Dean Daffis, member of the Township Committee, on behalf of Mayor Victor DeLuca and the rest of my colleagues on the Township Committee, declare April 2026 as Parliamentary Law Month and call upon the district's associations, units, and all members to observe the month with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities as a way to honor our rich legacy and bring our mission and vision into reality for current and future generations. Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly, we have Parkinson's Awareness Month, and that's Committeewoman Adams.
Thank you, Mayor. April is Parkinson's Awareness Month, and as this impacts many of us, I'm honored to read this and hopefully get people thinking about research and cure of Parkinson's. Whereas Parkinson's disease is a progressive neurological disorder that affects movement, including tremor, stiffness, and balance, and is caused by the loss of dopamine-producing cells in the brain. And whereas nearly 1 million people in the United States are living with Parkinson's disease, and tens of thousands of new cases are diagnosed each year. Whereas more than 30,000 individuals in New Jersey are living with Parkinson's, underscoring its significant impact within our state. And whereas Parkinson's disease affects not only those diagnosed, but also their families, caregivers, and communities, creating emotional, physical, and financial challenges. And whereas Parkinson's disease can also occur in younger individuals, known as early onset Parkinson's, presenting unique challenges related to employment, family life, and long-term care. And whereas while there is currently no cure, ongoing research continues to advance treatments and improve quality of life for those living with Parkinson's. And whereas raising awareness and supporting education, research, and advocacy are essential to improving outcomes and ultimately finding a cure. Whereas organizations such as Parkinson's Foundation, the American Parkinson's Disease Association, and Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research, along with local healthcare providers, provide critical resources, support services, and drive innovative research for individuals and families affected by Parkinson's disease. Now, therefore, I, Nancy Adams, Township Committeewoman, on behalf of Mayor Vic DeLuca and the rest of the Township Committee, do hereby proclaim April as Parkinson's Awareness Month in the Township of Maplewood and encourage all residents to increase their understanding of Parkinson's disease, support those affected, and promote efforts toward research and treatment. Be it further resolved that residents seeking information, support, or resources are encouraged to contact the Parkinson's Foundation at 1-800-4PD-INFO or visit parkinsons.org or consult with local healthcare providers and consider donating to these causes. Thank you.
Thank you. And one of the reasons why we do take time out to do these proclamations is because we want to make sure that we recognize our community. Our community is diverse and inclusive, and this is a way for us to make sure that everyone feels part of our community of Maplewood. We're now going to move into some more community activity, and that's serving on a board and committee, and we're going to have some board and committee appointments to the Senior Advisory Committee. Deputy Mayor Herman.
Thank you. I'm really excited about these next two appointments to our senior committee. These two women came to our last meeting, and I know at least one of them enjoyed it so much that she wanted to be a member. So we're so thrilled to have the two of you here tonight. I'm going to call you each up, and if you could come to the podium and share with us who you are, how long you've lived in town, and why you want to be on the senior committee. And I'll start with Carol. Carol Cornicelli.
Hello. My name is Carol Cornicelli. I have been in Maplewood since 1997, so almost 30 years. We moved from Brooklyn, of course, and I've been very involved with the Maplewood Strollers. I've done theater all my life. My other jobs were just to support my artistic habits, as they say. My last job before I retired was with AARP, so I'm a big advocate of that organization. And I'm also I'm a member of the Maplewood Women's Club. And so with all of that in mind, I found out through the Maplewood Women's Club that there was an opening on this committee. And I thought, well, I'm a senior now. I could do something. And my experience gives me a lot of, I'm very good at organizing, planning, and cleaning up after events. So if we ever need something like that to support the senior advisory committee, and I'm here to help. I want to know what more I can do to serve the seniors in the community, because although I'm a senior, I'm very mobile and very independent, so I don't know all the services that people need, and I would like to know more about that. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now I'd like to call up Erica Dembow. Please tell me if I'm saying your last name incorrectly. Demba. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, committee, for reviewing my application and for inviting me to talk about myself. So I grew up in New Providence. I lived in various towns around here, South Orange, West Orange, and Maplewood and Morristown. Well, Maplewood is new for me. But I attended secretarial school and 2 years, got my associate's degree at Morris County College. So then I've had numerous positions as a secretary or an EA or a PA or an administrative assistant, whatever they want to call it, in varying industries. And as the years have gone by, I've had positions of increased responsibility and accountability. I'm a new senior myself. I just moved back to this area. I lived in Chicago for 30 years. I moved back here 3 years ago. I spent a lot of time at Winchester Gardens, where I met my friend Jackie. My mom and dad lived there. My dad has since passed, but because of that, I feel like I have a lot of knowledge about what seniors need, maybe even more than they know they need, just having seen it. And as being a new senior, I think it's important for me to be involved and to see what is available and to help make other resources available. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Can I move both together?
Sure.
Yep. Thank you. I move that we appoint Erica Demba and Carol Cornicelli to the Senior Advisory Committee.
I'll second.
Please call the roll.
Call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Colding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, congratulations.
Welcome to the committee.
And thank you. Thank you.
And Committeeman Daffish, you'd like to move Bruno Lee for another term on?
I would. Thank you, Mayor. I'm delighted to move the reappointment of Mr. Bruno Lee, who has been serving on the Maplewood Arts Council and is interested in continuing. His term expired at the end of December, and I move his reappointment. He's been a very active member, and the council is very happy to have him to continue serving. So I would move his reappointment for another 3-year term, a term ending in 12/31/2028.
Second. Call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Colding? Yes. Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're now going to move to our presentation, and we're going to hear about our watershed improvement plan. This is a requirement that comes to us from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. All municipalities have to adhere to this. So we've been working with our consultants from FPA, and Mr. Redmond, are you going to do the introduction? Well, Mr. Redmond is our staff engineer, and go for it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Just a brief introduction. Yep, I'm Scott Redmond. I'm the staff engineer for the Township of Maplewood, and I'm accompanied tonight by Stephanie Williams. She is the project manager and principal author of the watershed inventory report that she will be presenting to you tonight. We would usually be accompanied by Paul Kittner, the township engineer and director of public works, but unfortunately he is not feeling too well tonight, so he will not be attending, but he apologizes for his absence. So, as stated, the presentation tonight concerns the watershed inventory report. So, what is the watershed inventory report? So, the report is essentially an accounting of the township's stormwater infrastructure. The infrastructure including inlets, catch basins, piping, manholes, outfalls, which deposit stormwater into our local waterways. Also interconnections into neighboring towns such as Milburn, such as South Orange, and we want to map those interconnections so we have an accounting of them as well. And all of this data was incorporated into a GIS mapping database that was submitted to the state, NJDEP, and they approved that mapping. Another major component of the watershed inventory report is TMDLs. So what are TMDLs? TMDL stands for Total Maximum Daily Load, which is a fancy way of saying pollutants. Right? So we want to have a full accounting of these pollutants as well. And it's basically a measure of these contaminants that make their way into our local water bodies via stormwater runoff. And these contaminants vary from anything including lead, copper, phosphorus, fecal chloroform, and like I said, most of these are, like phosphorus, for example, is a byproduct of some household fertilizers that make their way into local waterways. And there's two types of sources. There's point source, and there is, I believe it's broad source, right? So we don't have any point sources, which is usually industrial zones that dump directly into rivers, so we don't really have any of those, being that we're not an industrial town primarily. But it's important for us to have an accounting of these impairments because it not only affects our living environment, but is also a huge detriment to aquatic life and those habitats that actually live in these rivers and adjacent to them, right? So it's very important that we track these, and DEP is mandating that we do. As Mayor DeLuca had mentioned, it's important to note that this watershed inventory report is mandated by NJDEP and is part of a larger reporting effort that's broken out into 3 phases. So the watershed inventory report is just the first phase of this process. So like I mentioned, it's just an accounting of our stormwater infrastructure and these TMDLs, which Stephanie Williams will go into more detail on during the presentation. But there's also phase 2 and 3, which is going to be us making recommendations on how to mitigate the existence and the presence of these TMDLs and flooding throughout our township. I'd also like to mention, and Stephanie will probably mention this in the report as well, but DEP is also pressing for the establishment of stormwater utility authorities, which the township already has a leg up on because we just recently established our stormwater utility authority, which is going to help us out tremendously in addressing these issues. We're going to have funding in place, so once we have these recommendations as part of phase 2 and phase 3 of the watershed improvement plan, we'll actually be able to act on these improvements, which is hugely important. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Stephanie Williams, and she's going to walk you through the presentation, and we'll yield some time for comments as well. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Scott. That was fantastic. So I prepared a presentation via a PowerPoint presentation. It's going to go through a lot of the things that Scott had mentioned. So next slide.
So one thing I would suggest, because you're going to be turning that way, is to hold that mic and keep it in front of your, that's perfect.
Everything picks up.
Sounds like a plan. All right, so we're going to talk about the MS4 program, general idea. I know Scott, he really did a nice little summary of it. Next page. All right, so what is MS4? MS4 stands for the Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System. This is part of the Clean Water Act. So this is actually established as part of the federal regulations. That means New Jersey is not the only one who is doing this. This is a statewide, United States. If your waters go into a waters body of the United States, you are required to do an MS4 permit. It just so happens all of New Jersey goes into United States waters. And they're typically non-treated. Next slide. All right, so the MS4 permit now has become a little bit more involved. We now have to do a more analyzing the watersheds and addressing the impaired streams, really going into doing some pollution reduction, as well as New Jersey wants us to do flooding reduction. Next slide. All right, so the program has turned into becoming a inventory and kind of checking the box type of program to now we have to go ahead and do something with it. So now we're looking at an outcome-based system. Next page. So what does the MS4 permit regulate? We're looking at municipalities, we're looking at public complexes, and we're looking at highway agencies, where we have to track, demonstrate that we are making measurable goals to reduce TMDLs. Next slide. All right, so the core requirements of the MS4, you guys have already addressed this. We're looking at public education. This presentation counts as one, so 3 points right here. Illicit discharge detection program, stormwater ordinances, some good housekeeping for our DPW, mapping, and what I'm here to talk about, which is the watershed improvement plan. Next slide. All right, so what is the watershed improvement plan? I get to long-term plan. As Scott said, it is a 3-part system that we have to take account of what is happening in our system and obtain feedback from our stakeholders. Stakeholders are Maplewood Township. Next slide. All right, so again, we're identifying TMDLs, and just so you are aware, all the things that you are doing now as part of the MS4 permit are part of the watershed improvement plan. So the ordinances are a program. The good housekeeping, that's part of the program. Any new construction projects and reviews of plans that you guys do are, again, part of the watershed improvement plan. Next slide. So the purpose, again, we're going to establish a baseline of what is actually happening in Maplewood. What are our concerns about? Next slide. Right now, we're on the planning phase of everything. We are trying to figure out what do we have, what do we need to do? And how we're going to do that, we're going to use regulations that NJDEP has created. So we're looking at the Tier A permits, we're taking a look at the stormwater rules for development and any surface water quality requirements. Next page. And another aspect of this, like I was saying, is that we are also going to be addressing flooding, which is, I think, a benefit for all of New Jersey. This right here was actually taken in Hope Township, which is a township that I am the municipal engineer for. So that is actually a real picture. The only thing that is missing there is whoever had this picture before, if you see there's a sign under waterfront, that was his house that he was selling. So it is especially waterfront in this situation. Next slide. All right, so phase 1, this is obtaining all the information that we have, all the inventory. So we're looking at infrastructure mapping. We're taking a look at the drainage areas for all the outfalls. We're looking at stormwater interconnections. Impervious area, which I believe you guys have already established in the previous iteration when you guys did your stormwater program. Next slide. These are all the items that we did track. We looked at outfalls, interconnection, MS4 conveyance, which is our ditches, our pipes, inlets, and we took a look at all those inlets to see what kind of inlets they are, because inlets actually affect stormwater quality. Any stormwater facilities you guys had, and as well as any property you guys have in order to potentially have a project. And one of the greater benefits of doing all this, we went from having a paper system where we would track everything to everything becoming digitalized. Well, all of your inspection forms are now on a digital form, and there's less tracking where we could just obtain quick summaries of all of the things that we have done. Next slide. All right, phase 2, this is the planning phase. This is where we're going to try and obtain different projects. What kind of projects are we looking at? What kind of programs do we want to do? It's basically a draft of an action plan of how we're going to address TMDLs. Next slide. And then final is what those actions are. What is our final system that we're going to implement? What kind of funding are we going to need? What kind of projects? What's going to be the most cost-effective to the TMDLs that we need to do? Next slide. All right, so why does this matter? Well, we're going to improve the water quality. We're going to reduce flooding. We're going to prioritize capital infrastructure and improvements. And most importantly, long-term resiliency. Next slide. So one town that has done this already is Hoboken. Hoboken has created an entire system where they have reduced the amount of flooding that has been occurring and have reduced the amount of pollutants that are going out into the ocean. And from their handbook, they have prevented 107 floods out of a potential 121. That, to me, seems like it is well worth the cost. This park over here, the Resilient City Park, currently holds 1.2 million gallons of water, which is the equivalent, I believe, of 20 Olympic-sized pools. So this little bit of land carries a whole lot of water to prevent a whole lot of flooding. Next slide, please. And like I said before, this is not something that is New Jersey special. In Ohio, they actually have an entire, this place, Ohio Creek, did an MS4 and a watershed improvement plan. They have their own Resilient City Park. They have their own, if you see along the roadways, there's little bits of green. Those are little rain gardens that they've created in order to reduce the amount of flooding in their town. Next slide. All right, so let's take a look at Maplewood. You guys might recognize this. This is over at the Memorial Park. Next slide. All right, so as I've stated before, this is what we're identifying. We need to determine in Maplewood where our drainage, where our flooding patterns. We're documenting our natural features, we're documenting our not so natural features. And as stakeholders, I encourage you all to reflect during this presentation, what is your vision for Maplewood? What do you guys, want to see? Next slide. I'm not going to go through all of this because this is a lot of text, but these are different ways we could implement a watershed improvement plan. We have education. We have pollution and flooding reduction. We need to look at projects and improvements. Restoration projects. A lot of people do the clean streams. Community engagement, again, clean streams. Protection and advocacy, and of course, funding. Next slide. So I'm just going to go over what this is not. This is not a final stormwater design. This is not a permit application. This is trying to engage you guys to determine what do we want to do. Next slide. So I've been keep on saying this word watershed. So what is that? It is an area of land that all the water drains into. So we identify where all the ridge lines are, and we determine that that is the area of concentration that we want to take a look at. This is the area that is polluting the stream. And how do we address that? Next slide. So we took a look at 5 different watersheds. These are sub-watersheds, I should be very clear about. So we have 5 of them. You'll see that there's the Rahway River one that is right to the north. That's mostly in grassy, forested area. Our biggest one is the Rahway River, EB. The Elizabeth R is another one that's the next biggest factor. And then we have some smaller ones that drain further south. And then we also have a little influence on the Elizabeth River to your northern neighbors. Next slide. So this is a snapshot of all the data we collected. We physically went out there and we identified all of these inlets, outfalls, and we have a photo inventory of everything here. Next slide. Next slide. All right. This is what we've determined. We found we have 37 outfalls, 90 interconnections, that is connections from different towns into your stormwater system, or that could be private stormwater facilities coming in, that are coming into the system. And we also have 37 drainage areas, as well as 3 overburdened communities. Next slide. Again, this is a kind of a really important view of what we're kind of looking at as well. You'll see that there's blue in these watersheds. Those blue areas are what Rutgers believes is a 3-foot elevation gain for flooding. It's not completely accurate. I'm going to point that out there. It is something that they were able to quickly do. A full analysis would have to be done through a more strenuous program, but it is a good tool to determine what kind of impacts the real rules are having on Maplewood. Next slide. Again, this is another map of our developed conditions of what we've determined and found in areas that we might want to concentrate in. Next slide. And then this image right here is our drainage area maps. You could kind of see what areas we want to tackle. You can see that there is an outfall number 10 that is located a little bit north of that bigger blob to the north of that orange blob. That is probably your biggest stormwater system that is draining into the river. So these type of maps help us identify where do we want to start with. Next slide. This right here is a FEMA flood map. We've seen many of these before. You could see, the red area is a floodway, blue is potential flood areas. Next slide. Again, the inlet flood map from Rutgers showing the plus 3 feet. I have my little, this map shows how big flooding could be, not exactly where it will happen. So just to give you that heads up, but it's still a great tool for planning. Next slide. All right, we already talked about what a TMDL is. It's a total maximum daily load. The Clean Water Act established this, and this is a tool to determine where our pollutants are. Next slide. So where are they? They come from developed landscaping, they come from background loads, they come from waste loads. Background loads, I'll start from the top, can come from geese, they could come from deer, they could come from your wildlife. Those are the background loads. They can even come from the rocks in the rivers. A non-point load is your developed area. So when somebody puts on phosphorus on top of their grass, that is a non-point load. And waste loads, those are the point sources that we can identify. Next slide. In summary, these are all of your TMDLs. You have fecal coliform, you have total phosphorus, you have dissolved solids, you have copper, you have lead. That's a couple of things that are in there that NJDEP and Rutgers have come together and established in your waters. Next slide. We'll run through these pretty quickly because you can kind of see, we have fecal coliform in this little blue area on the south, total phosphorus and total dissolved solids. The TMDL rankings are also placed on there based on what Rutgers and NJDEP have determined as what is high priority, medium priority, and low priority. Next slide. Broadway River, fecal coliform phosphorus, and dissolved solids. Next slide. Broadway River, even though this is our largest area, the NJDEP has only found fecal coliform. Next slide. That little corner to that side, that is, again, fecal coliform. And then our more robust one is this one over here, where we have the fecal coliform, the copper, the lead, the total phosphorus, and the total dissolved solids. Next slide. And then over here, I established a map where you could kind of see where the heat map is of where the TMDLs are really need to be addressed. Next slide. So the key aspects of this is that, we need to establish what do we need to do with land use to affect and, clean up the waters. This inventory provides a picture of current events, establishes, again, a baseline of where we're at, and we can now create informed decisions in order to address these. Next slide. So what are our next steps? Now we need to evaluate strategies. What do we want to tackle first? What areas do we want to tackle first? We also need to engage stakeholders. There's a 60-day commentary period that will begin when you guys put the report online. Next is, coordinating municipal planning, seeing what can we do to, address these, doing targeted studies, as well as identify priority areas. And all of these kind of happen all at once in order to go to the next phase. Next. So the report, like I said, will need to be posted online and a 60-day commentary period. Those comments that we receive should be implemented into the watershed inventory phase 2. Anybody is welcome to provide comments, and that moves us on to the improvement plan. Next slide. Do you guys have any questions for me at this time?
Any questions from the Township Committee? Yes.
Thank you for that. It was fairly informative. It's a lot in a short time. I had the ability to look at it ahead of time, which is good, so I understood it. I think it was 8 years ago or so, I asked our engineer to start incorporating rain gardens and green infrastructure into our road work things, and then brought up the stormwater utility, so I'm glad we're on the right track. Is there anything that you recommend that we think about implementing as well, like, past those two sort of policy things we've been doing?
Well, I think it'd be a great idea to, engage in what kind of things that other people are doing. Like I said, that Ohio Creek was done in 2008. So other places have done that. There are plenty of different strategies we can do. During the phase 2, those strategies will be laid out, and different type of projects will be available to you guys. And there's a lot of things we have to take a look at. One is, what is the most practical approach? You guys are not the only people who are polluting the waters.
Right.
Sometimes it's also a great idea to contact whoever's upstream and say, hey, what kind of projects can we do together in order to address these TMDLs? So start engaging in figuring out where's the water going, and see what other people have done. I know that a lot of towns have been turning their parks and their new, if they're redoing a basketball, they're turning them into stormwater storage facilities. And the key aspect of the watershed improvement plan is to address the TMDLs. The flooding is just a byproduct of addressing the TMDLs.
So we're pretty much fully built out township, as you've know from
Yes.
being here evaluating it.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if there's other infrastructure projects that we should incorporate, whether it's in our road program when we're, other than like the rain gardens that we're doing, like underneath, depending on how big of a construction project, like whether we're rebuilding a road or we're just repaving.
I mean, right now, I don't want to speak beyond for the engineering department, but for new roads, when we're redoing inlets, a small little thing you can do is install catch basins in your inlet. You're already there. It's only going to cost a few dollars more, but it already addresses taking some of the heavy pollutants out of the water, and it's already there. Start that little steps. I really strongly believe that the watershed improvement plan is all about the little steps, not one huge project such as Hoboken did. Hoboken did one huge project. And since you guys are already built out, the small little projects at a time is going to be your key.
And what about water usage? Does that have any impact? Like, because we've kind of danced around the idea of like limiting lawn watering, for example, because of the water.
I would have to take a look more at that to see what the studies have shown. I don't want to assume that would do something. I would prefer to take a look at the studies and see whether or not reducing the amount of lawn water has reduced the amount of TMDLs. Back in, I believe it was 2008, 2007, New Jersey outlawed phosphorus in their fertilizers, which is why you can't find that in Home Depot or Lowe's anymore. You have to go over to Pennsylvania. But it's one of those things that it's a slow process. Things don't get cleaned as fast as one would like. For example, my house, I have toddlers. No matter how much I clean up, it's always going to be, there's always going to be something there. So I strongly believe a town is very much like having a busy household. You constantly have to see what the next, project is going to be, and try to jump on it before it gets worse.
Yeah, and the education process part of this is that we get points for the anything we do for education.
Yes.
So education of the public is, why do we have street sweepers? That's to keep stuff out of the catch basins or out of the system so that they're not going into the water stream, right? And same with fertilizers, to better not to use fertilizers, better to use basically green practices in your home. And please, people, recycle or don't buy like single-use stuff. So all these environmental things we talk about all the time really play into what ends up in our water.
Absolutely. And going back to your point with the street sweeping, not to bash the word maple, but maple trees, they do produce a very sugary leaf, which is actually another cause for the phosphorus in the water.
So pancake syrup, that's the problem.
Oh, yes, got to reduce the pancakes.
Yes, Mr.
I have a couple questions. Thank you. This is eye-opening, very informative. So this report pretty much, subject to the 60-day public comment period, establishes our inventory for Maplewood, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so the next step is to what? To do stakeholder engagement, to figure out prioritization and how we want to address, right?
Correct.
So it's sort of like a master plan process.
It is very much like a master plan. I will be engaging, if we get the next phase. I'm not going to speculate that we are, but we will engage with the engineer, we'll engage with a planner, we'll engage with you guys of what exactly is a feasible solution. And the one key thing that NJDEP has put into their watershed improvement plan is practical, something that is absolutely practical, to get goals that are practical. Again, if somebody else is creating a hardship on reading a TMDL that is not a practical goal for you guys. So that there's a lot of things that go into it. It's a whole community engagement of this plan.
Wonderful. And does NJDEP offer grants for some of these things?
Currently, they are not. I am aware there's a couple of legislations that are before and New Jersey Senate. I believe there's a $100 million grant in front of the Senate at this time that is still being in the HERD process in order to open up some money for these improvement plans and just stormwater in general.
Great. You mentioned in your report at some point that you identified 3 burdened communities within the township.
Yes.
Do you know where those are?
I would have to take a look at the map, to be honest with you. They are communities, I don't really like the term overburdened community too much. I live in an overburdened community, and I will tell you, it does not feel like that. But it's a community that has a high level of poverty, or it has a high level of minorities. Again, I don't really like that term, but that is the term NJDEP has provided. And NJDEP has identified those as communities to concentrate on due to historical discrepancies for them.
Great. What's the required timeline as it relates to implementation?
For implementation, so the first part we have to do is a phase 2, and that is due by December 31st. And then it's either December 31st or January 1st, I forget. But then the next one is 11 months later is the phase 3, and then that's when the projects are looking to be started. And as far as I'm aware, it's a plan. At the end of the day, it is a plan. When the projects come in, they come in, but it is, in fact, a plan. So they don't really tell you when it has to be started by. It just is a plan.
Great. And one last question. Existing projects that we have to make improvements in certain MS4 conveyances, those would count toward this, right?
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Mr. Redmond, anything else? That's it. Okay, well, thank you very much.
you. Treading.
We'll, again, this will be posted on our website?
Yeah, we can post the video.
Yeah, I think we should, well, I know, I mean, the report will be on the website.
We can post the report on the
Yeah, we should have them, well, if we're looking for public comment or any kind of input, it should
Yeah,
be
we
on our
need to.
website. And people can take a look at it, and they can contact your office if they have any questions or comments or suggestions. Thank you. We're now going to move to the first public comment session. Is there anyone who would like to speak on an agenda item?
Good evening. John Sullivan, 11 Field Road, Maplewood. There's 2 issues that are on the agenda this evening that I'd like to address. The first one has to do with the Hart Field and the rehabilitation of that field. At the last TC meeting, there was a discussion about the need for a maintenance and management program. And the TC had made a commitment a year and a half ago to rehabilitate this field. And I'm a proponent of the rehabilitation of the Hart being a natural grass field. And I hope that since the last meeting till tonight, the Township Committee was able to vet the management and maintenance plan, and that can be passed this evening. My other point has to do with a discussion item, the request from Summer Shuttle Working Group to present 2 town shuttle ideas. I was present on Saturday when the township did their ribbon cutting for the electric jitney. And I'm happy to say I'm part of a community that realizes the importance of electric power and has now moved forward and including that into the Jitney system through a grant which did not cost anything to the community, and you've utilized it for a good reason. And I just hope that we can utilize that not only for commuters, but also to transport our youth and others in the community from businesses, from South Orange to Maplewood, South Orange Avenue, Maplewood Avenue, Irvington and Parker, and then also Springfield Avenue. So if I can be of assistance on any working committee, I volunteer to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to address the Township Committee?
Good evening. Martin Sepperly, 152 Parker Avenue. I'd like to voice my support for the SOMA Shuttle Working Group and urge the town to partner with South Orange in discussions, including launching a survey townwide about the need for a shuttle. And have you guys heard of the swamp trolley?
I have now.
Swamp trolley, there's a great video on YouTube from the South Orange Historical Society. It's an hour long if you have an hour, but it's very interesting. This area was built on public transit. This area was built before everyone owned a car. We have a long history of public transit that goes far beyond the commuter jitney service that the town offers now. We have residents of all ages that do not drive. We have middle school students, high school students, seniors, even adults can't drive for medical or various reasons. We're a very small town, and we need options to get around. We need options to navigate our town. Today, I took a walk. I walked from Maplewood Village all the way to Newark Way and back, just to get a feel for it. This is a very walkable town, but that's quite a distance. And the workers, for example, at the Artie's restaurant, they get in on the train. NJ Transit, they don't have a way to get around. So we need bus service. We need to talk to South Orange because our school system is combined with South Orange. We're one town. We should treat our transit system as a unified system. Pedestrian infrastructure plays a part, bike lanes play a part, buses play a part, but it's all one system, and parking plays a part too. This is all related. It's one connected system. So it's time Maplewood Township partners with South Orange and really prioritizes it. There's funding for this. We don't have to take the full burden of the funding. There's federal grants. It's all on the table, but it's a matter of prioritizing it and walking in our residents' shoes. I would urge all of you to spend a week without driving, because a lot of our residents do not drive. And if you're a driver, you do not understand what this town is like when you're not driving. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the Township Committee on an agenda item? Okay. Is there anyone on Zoom who would like to address the Township Committee on an agenda item?
If anyone joining on Zoom would like to speak in public portion on agenda items, please raise your hand. Moving over Julia Flath to public portion. Welcome, Julia. You can unmute yourself and address the committee.
Hi, I'm here on behalf of the SOMA Shuttle Working Group. We are members of both South Orange and Maplewood, covering all ages from the Maplewood Youth Advisory Committee to the South Orange Senior Advisory Committee, and we started looking at this back in October. There is a new grant that's specifically intended for expanding local shuttle services with the goal of reducing personal vehicle trips and congestion, reducing carbon emissions, and improving personal mobility. And those are all things that I think we can agree that we want to see here in town. The vision is a joint venture between South Orange and Maplewood to operate a shuttle service on a regular loop schedule similar to the Jitney during the daytime to destinations in both South Orange and Maplewood that would serve teens, seniors, and the general public. And there's, a lot of demand for this, for youth to be able to get around independently without their parents needing to drive them places. We just need to get more people out of cars as we have our population increasing with development here. There's lots of complaints about traffic, and this is one of the ways that we can, one of the solutions that we can offer. And so we'd like to keep moving forward with exploring this opportunity, and we've been working on a survey to gauge, to show the demand and help develop the proposal. And just hope that both towns will continue to partner with us on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on Zoom?
Yes, now moving over Deb Engel to panelist. Welcome to public portion, Ms. Engel. You may address the Township Committee.
Hi, everybody. Deb Engel, 29 Schaefer Road. I am speaking in support of the SOMA shuttle. This is something that came out of the Youth Advisory Committee, I believe, last spring, and we brought it to the Engineering, Planning, and Public Works Committee. And I understand that there were challenges in regards to expanding Jitney service. We were talking about mostly in the afternoon hours before the commuting time begins. We were talking about loops around the town to key areas. I appreciate Ms. Flath for starting this working group between the two towns. And I guess my ask is to maybe formalize a working group between Maplewood and South Orange and have representatives from Maplewood Township Committee as well as South Orange on it so that we can work through some of the challenges, similar to what we did with the bike lanes working group, so that we can work through some of the challenges and hopefully get something done. I think that we all have a shared vision of reducing traffic on our roads and making it safer for our pedestrians to be able to move around and increasing public transportation and a way for all residents of Maplewood to move around safely with these SOMA shuttles would be of help to that mission. So thank you so much for your time and all the work that you do.
Thank you.
I see no other hands, Mayor.
Okay. We will close the first public comment period, and again, there'll be a second public comment period on any item, and that will come at the end of the meeting. All right. Now we're going to move to ordinances on final passage.
Mr. Mayor, if you might indulge me, before we entertain any of our ordinances for final passage this evening, I have a resolution for the Township Committee's consideration, if I may. In light of our moving forward tonight, not just on D Hart Park, important improvement, but also in light of our recognizing that we are going to be making a lot of improvements to our parks and our fields in the long term in Maplewood. We've committed that to the community. And we're also understand that for those improvements to be sustainable and successful, we are committing to management of parks and fields and a fulsome maintenance plan for all. I would move a resolution tonight that the Township Committee commits to hiring a part-time this year field manager to begin looking into parks improvements and field maintenance and seeing where that takes us next year and beyond, subject, of course, to our budget being able to
I understand what you're trying to do. So you move that as a motion?
I'm moving it as a motion for we could do a resolution, right?
Yeah, we could do certainly a motion if it gets a second and it passes, yes. I'm not sure about the order here because we have not, we have this scheduled for ordinances now, not resolutions. But I do understand your point. Well, let me ask, is there a second to that resolution?
I second the resolution, but I would be more in favor of a full-time position if the budget allows next year.
Yeah, well, there's no resolution that we can make this year that will.
Bind next year. This is for this year, right?
As I understood it, you're looking to do something this year.
Yes.
And I guess so that is the motion. Is there an interest in making sure that we have a field manager for 2026? Correct?
Yes, that's the
Is there
motion.
a second for that?
I second that. Could I also ask our administrator, is this something that we could do in our budget this year?
Go ahead.
Yes, I expect it is. We have some relief in the Department of Community Services because there are some positions that are unfilled so far this year, and that gives us some relief in our salary wage line. So for a part-time seasonal person, we can absorb this in the existing budget that has been introduced and is to be considered for final adoption.
And so this would, without encumbering future township committees, this would give us an opportunity to see how this kind of a position would work and put us in the best possible position, for putting this kind of investment into our fields.
Yes. So just to be clear, if this motion was to pass, there'd be no cost associated with this because it could be covered by the existing, for 2026, by the existing allocation to the Department of Community Services.
That's right. We wouldn't have to increase the salary wage line at all.
And can I ask also if you've spoken with the department heads? I think the relevant ones would be Community Services and DPW to ascertain their thoughts on this position. There was a job description that was circulated to all of us that I quite liked, so I'm interested in their feedback.
Yeah, we've had conversations with the director of the Department of Community Services and with our township engineer and director of public works. Both of them are in favor of the position, thinks it would benefit both departments, though it would be, the role would be in community services, and they would certainly welcome this support.
So if I could just, you sent us a memo on April 17th, Mr. Weary. Okay, so if I just go to that. You talk about a field manager job description. The creation of positions specific to field management is in early concept for discussion. If the position was created, it would likely be implemented in 2027. So it's possible that we could do that earlier. You did say that with part-time seasonal staff and the current 2026 budget, it could happen this year. And the position and job description were developed in part through conversations with South Orange to understand their operation in areas they find success. Okay.
Yeah. So
there's nothing inconsistent with your memo with the resolution that's being passed.
And all this in discussions that we've had in depth and ongoing since the last township committee meeting.
Right. Okay. So as I understand it, there's been a resolution made and seconded that we direct the Department of Community Services and the Township Administrator to engage a field manager for 2026.
And Dean, you said
Yes.
part-time, right? You said part-time.
Well, I think it's whatever the budget can handle, right?
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to
I
be.
think if we direct them to do that,
Make sure.
Yes.
they'll hire somebody based on what's available and what the need is.
Yeah.
And why are we taking this out of order before we get to, is it connected in your mind, Mr. Daffis, to the bond ordinance that we're about to vote on?
It is, but I wanted not to place conditions
That
on
you
the bond.
legally can't, right.
Right. So this is why I'm doing it this way. And it would apply to all of our fields and parks. So it wouldn't be just about DeHart.
Right. And just to be very clear that this person would be a management person, field management person, and would work in the Department of Community Services.
Yes.
Not in the Department of Public Works.
Correct.
Okay. Any further discussion? Please call the roll on the motion.
Ms. Adams?
I'm not necessarily opposed, but I don't like the process here, so I'm going to vote no.
Ms. Collins Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, thank you. Okay, we're going to move now to the ordinance on final passage. So before we read the ordinance, I just want to inform the community of what we've done. So this ordinance for the bond came up 2 weeks ago, and there was a feeling that it was not ripe for action at the time. So we carried the item from the April 7th meeting, and Ms. Credidio, that's perfectly legal to do that. We had a vote to carry it to tonight, and tonight we're able to have the public hearing and the final vote. Is that correct?
Yes, Mayor, that's correct.
Okay. So in the interim, in the 2 weeks, it actually has been beneficial because it has given us time to really get a number of reports and dig into those reports, one of which is the DeHart Athletic Field and Maintenance Plan. And we have a picture of that, Mr. Weir, we can put up?
We do. Let me bring it.
And this is something that's on the website, and it was prepared by our consultants, VHB. And I would urge you, it is fairly detailed. It's about 45 pages. You can find it. If the best thing to do, because it's a little hard to do, it's under resident and all that, but you can go into the search and just hit the DeHart Park Maintenance and Management Plan. It'll take you here. It has a number of, various suggested activities broken up by months. It talks about the fields, and it's very good. So it talks about maintenance, and maintenance is primarily the responsibility of the Department of Public Works, and then it also talks about management, and management is primarily the responsibility of the Department of Community Services. So this report is going to be used by both of those departments to move forward. Additionally, you'll find on the website a stormwater management plan and a report, and that after taking a look at that, our consultants from VHB have found that the field rehabilitation will not result in any increased runoff to the nearby stormwater system, and in some conditions will result in decreased runoff. And what we saw earlier with the MS4 and stormwater inventory is we're actually creating some of those retention pipes underneath the field. So some of those pipes will be larger, be able to retain that water, and then empty that water out. There was also an assessment of the cost of the new field, and right now we are spending somewhere in the vicinity of $72,000 on that field. That includes everything from grass cutting to fertilizing, aeration, seeding, watering, things like that. So the estimate for the new field will be about $43,000 more a year, $116,000. The question of who's going to maintain that, it's going to be a combination of DPW and contracted work. For example, we do contracted work now. We contract all of our large fields for grass cutting. The DPW does not do grass cutting. We hire a firm. In fact, there's a resolution tonight on the agenda about hiring a firm to do grass cutting. So the grass cutting will be done by a private firm, and we will likely have more private firms do things like fertilizing, aeration, seeding, all the things that we're talking about, and DPW will supplement that work. We are looking, as I mentioned before, about the segregation of responsibilities, but also the coordination of responsibilities. And I think what we talked about with this field management person is a way in which we can build that communication between the various departments. And I, for one, if I'm here in 2027, would be interested in looking at that, carrying that in the 2027 budget, and agree that we can move forward with it here. The good news is that we received, on April 14th, we received 9 construction bids for this project. Those bids cannot be awarded until the end of May, because we need a 20-day, if this ordinance is passed tonight, there's 20 days, it's an estoppel period, in case the citizens want to file a petition to overturn the ordinance. If it moves forward, we have 20 days. That'll bring us to, I think it's May 19th is our second meeting in May. And at that time, we can award the contract and then be on track for the end of June, beginning of July to start the work. So we're fairly close to where we want to be if we adopt this tonight. Just on those bids, we're very happy. We had estimated bids at around 2.8, and the bids we received came in at just over 2 million to 3.2 million. So our engineers and professionals are looking at those bids, and there'll be recommendations. And as I said, we'll have plenty of time to vet those bids and vet those contractors, because we won't be doing this until May. So that's where we are tonight. Some people have said we voted things down. Nothing was voted down. We just carried it to tonight. We've gotten a lot more information. We've pushed the information out. We have the information on our website. We urge you to take a look at it. We're very serious about this. We're changing the orientation of the plan. We're changing from a sand base to from a soil base to a sand base, building 2 fields. We've talked about, and we have those pictures of the field resting. We've talked about the ability now with 2 regulation high school fields to rest the fields a little bit. So you can see we'll have a field A, field B. So there'll be times when there'll be games going on both of those fields. And there'll be times when field A will be open and field B will be resting for an organized sports game. Doesn't mean that you can't go out there with your child and kick the ball around or throw a Frisbee. You'll be able to do that on field B, but you won't have an organized game. And there'll be times when field B will be operating and field A will be resting. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be managing it because we're going to be making this field a really good field, and we're going to do it right this time.
I'd like to compliment Director Mancuso on the leaf resting.
There you go.
In the
Okay, so with all that, can you take us into the bond?
Yes, Mayor. It's ordinance on final passage, item 9A, bond ordinance 3189-26, bond ordinance providing for the Dehart Park Rehabilitation Project in and by the Township of Maplewood in the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $3,150,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3 million in bonds or notes of the Township to finance part of the cost thereof. This ordinance appropriates $3,150,000 for the Dehart Park Rehabilitation Project and authorizes the issuance of $3 million in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
This ordinance has been published, copies posted. I'm sorry. I got to remember this. This is the new language. This ordinance has been published on the township's website, copies posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and copies made available to the general public in accordance with the law. Is there anyone in the room who would like to speak on this ordinance? Seeing no one, is there anyone on Zoom who would like to speak on this ordinance?
If anyone on Zoom would like to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand. I see no hands, Mayor.
Okay. Ms.
I
Adams,
move
can we
this.
get-
I would like to speak before we call the roll.
Yeah, we have to do the motion
After I
first.
do the motion.
Then we'll do the discussion.
I move this ordinance be adopted as a whole and the clerk be directed to post the same as a past ordinance on the township's website and town hall bulletin board according to the law.
Second, any discussion? Deputy Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your comments that you made earlier. I want to extend a thank you to our departments who have worked very hard in the maintenance and management plan, DPW, and also community services. Please pass that along. I think that the plan, I'm really pleased that the plan is on our website so that everybody can see it, because transparency is important. And we want everyone to be able to see the plan that we are looking at. And there have been some changes that have been made in the last couple of weeks, so we took it from the draft form to the final form. So I'm really pleased with where we're at. And we're going to be able to use this plan when we go out to bid for field contractors that will take care of the field. So that's really important. I'm really pleased with the management plans that I've heard from community services and how we're going to handle this. I think there's still a lot to be worked out, but I think that we can definitely get there. And I want to thank this committee for really, this is a big project, and this is a lot of money that we are, spending on this, and for taking this seriously, and for really committing that it's not going to be more of the same. That we're really going to turn a new page in the maintenance of our beautiful grass fields in Maplewood. So I'm really proud of where we're at tonight and of moving forward on this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
I just want to say that this project, it was a lot of headache, hard work, and I just want to remind the community that this township came together and made this happen. They thought about all the comments and everything that the small group sessions that we had, all the input that the community had. They took that into consideration. They considered it, and they met each person halfway, and everybody didn't get what they wanted, but we sure got a great plan, and we put things that we wouldn't have thought about after having a discussion with the township and the community. So this township really thought and reached all out to get this done. So I thank the township, because I wasn't on the township last year when you guys started this. So thank you for this. This is excellent.
It was more than last year, but that's.
Yes, yes.
I wanted to also add that I was able to bring this to the Recreation Advisory Committee, and so I thank our administrator for presenting this to the committee and to engaging with our residents who are on the Recreation Advisory Committee, because that's important. It's important that we talk to our residents and we take their thoughts into consideration, and I think that it makes the report stronger for that.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, we have a motion moved and seconded for this bond. Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes. Okay, we have another ordinance on final.
Yes, Mayor. Item 9B, ordinance number 3191-26 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 79, Article 1 of the Code of the Township of Maplewood, entitled Consumption in Public Areas, to provide for permits related to municipally sponsored events. This ordinance will amend and supplement Article 1 of Chapter 79 of the Township Code to permit the temporary suspension of the prohibition on public consumption of alcoholic beverages within a defined area and for a limited duration in connection with a municipally sponsored event.
This ordinance has been published on the township website, copies posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and copies made available to the general public in accordance with the law. Is there anyone here who would like to speak on this ordinance? Seeing no one, anyone on Zoom?
If anyone on Zoom would like to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand. I see no hands, Mayor.
Thank you. Committeeman Daffis, can we get a motion?
Certainly. I move this ordinance to be adopted as a whole, and the clerk be directed to post the same as a passed ordinance on the township's website and town hall bulletin board according to law.
I second.
Any discussion? This is primarily being done so that we could have our watch party on June 25th for the World Cup.
I can't wait.
It'll be in Maplewood Village. We'll close the street and have a blast. Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, thank you. And we have another ordinance on final.
Yes, Mayor. We have number 9C, ordinance number 3192-26. It's an ordinance amending Chapter 187 of the Code of the Township of Maplewood, entitled Outdoor Dining, to revise the Streetery Program Fee Schedule. This ordinance will amend Article 3 of Chapter 187 of the Township Code to revise the Streetery Program fees.
This ordinance has been published on the township website, copies posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and copies made available to the general public in accordance with the law. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this ordinance here in the building? Seeing no one, is there anyone online?
If anyone on Zoom would like to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand. I see no hands.
Thank you. Committeeman Daffis, can we get a motion?
Yes, I move this ordinance to be adopted as a whole, and the clerk be directed to post the same as a passed ordinance on the township's website and town hall bulletin board according to law.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams? Yes. Ms. Collins Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, thank you. And our last ordinance on final?
Yes, Mayor, 9D. And it's ordinance number 3193-26. Calendar year 2026, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank per NJSA 40A 4-45.14.
This ordinance has been published on the township website, copies posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and copies made available to the general public in accordance with the law. Is there anyone here who would like to speak on this ordinance? Seeing no one, is there anyone online?
Anyone on Zoom would like to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand. I see no hands, Mayor.
Okay. Committeewoman Adams.
I move this ordinance be adopted as a whole. The clerk be directed to post the same as a passed ordinance in the township's website and town hall bulletin board according to law.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes. And we have an introduction of an ordinance.
Yes, Mayor. On introduction, item 10A, ordinance number 3194-26 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 65 of the Code of the Township of Maplewood entitled Volunteer Incentives. This ordinance will amend and supplement Chapter 65 of the Township Code to include Maplewood residents who volunteer with the South Orange Rescue Squad.
I move this ordinance to be adopted as a whole, and the clerk be directed to post the same as a passed ordinance on the township's website and town hall bulletin board according to law.
It's on introduction, Mayor.
No, it's on intro.
Oh, my bad. I move the passage of this ordinance on first reading and its publication according to law on the township's website and town hall bulletin board, and a hearing to be held on May 5th. Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes.
Next, we have item 10B, Mayor, also on introduction. Ordinance number 3195-26. It's an ordinance appropriating $680,604 from the Open Space Trust Fund to provide for various purposes in and by the Township of Maplewood in the County of Essex, New Jersey.
I move the passage of this ordinance on first reading, its publication according to law on the township's website and town hall bulletin board, and a hearing to be held on May 5th.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes.
Next, also on introduction, item 10C, ordinance number 3196-26, bond ordinance providing for various improvements to the stormwater utility in and by the Township of Maplewood in the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $736,165 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $736,165 in bonds or notes of the township to finance the cost thereof.
I move the passage of this ordinance on first reading, its publication according to law on the Township's website and the Town Hall Bulletin Board, and a hearing to be held on May 5th.
I second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, thank you.
Next, also on introduction, item 10D, ordinance number 3197-26, bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Maplewood in the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $5,705,819 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $5,422,000 in bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof.
Before I move this, just want to point out, this is our major capital ordinance of the year, which is just about $6 million that we'll be allocating. Some of the big items here, we'll be putting $500,000 into our roads. That's really going to almost double because we're going to work with New Jersey American Water in partnership for the roads that they opened up to do some of the lead abatement program. So that's still being worked out, but you'll see a lot of activity this summer on the roads and the improvements there. We're also putting $400,000 in for traffic calming, which is actually $100,000 more than we had started out and $150,000 more than we had in last year's budget. So we are taking traffic calming very seriously, and we've talked with our engineer about a number of areas in which we're going to focus on in 2026. Prospect Street, we're going to be having a couple of meetings coming up, and we're putting in an additional $800,000 in there, and we've received nearly $1.2 million in state money for that. So that's going to be a redo of Prospect Street from the Union border to the South Orange border. We're also allocating $250,000 for the Donnell bike lanes, Donnell Road bike lanes, and that will enable us to connect the Parker Avenue bike lane with the Donnell, with the train station using Donnell. So that's an important thing. Maple Terrace drainage improvement, we're putting another couple $100,000 in there because we've got to get that job done, and costs are going up. Of course, there's always vehicles and equipment for DPW, our buildings and grounds, building repairs. It's very important that we invest. IT service, we've got to, keep up with our computer systems and our, everything, our servers and switches and software. And then we're buying two police hybrid vehicles. That's our policy, is to either buy electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles, and these will be SUV police vehicles, which are hybrid. So additionally, we're making investment in some of our fire department buildings as part of our relationship with South Orange and the South Essex Fire Department, and this budget includes a cost for a new ambulance. And even though we would be buying it this year, probably won't be receiving it for a couple of years. That's how backed up things are. So, but I think it's a good package. We worked hard in putting it together. I compliment the Township Committee and the staff for, working through that that budget. So, with that, I will move it. I move the passage of this ordinance on first reading and its publication according to law on the Township's website and Town Hall Bulletin Board, and a hearing to be held on May 5th.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes.
And also the final one on introduction, item 10E, ordinance number 3198. It's an ordinance amending Chapter 272 of the Code of the Township of Maplewood entitled Zoning Review and Permits to amend the fees for zoning review. This ordinance will amend fees for zoning review.
Mr. Daffis.
Yes. I move the passage of this ordinance on first reading and its publication according to law on the Township's website and Town Hall Bulletin Board, and a hearing to be held on May 5th.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams? Yes. Ms. Collins Golding? Yes. Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, thank you. We're going to go to administrative reports. Mr. Weary.
I have no report tonight, Mayor.
Ooh. Any questions for Mr. Weary?
Why do you have no report? Kidding. I don't want an answer to that.
Ms. Credidio.
I have no report, Mayor.
We know why you have no report. Ms. Fritzen.
I have a report,
Of course.
but I'll make it quick. Yes, Mayor and Township Committee, I want to report on the election last Thursday, the special general election held on April 16th. It went smooth. We had 5,693 votes cast, and that's roughly 27% of registered voters in the township. My staff, again, you know, it's every election, they're terrific. Everything's well done, from opening of the polls first thing in the morning, as you all know, until the results are tallied and sent down to Newark in the evening. So I compliment certainly my staff, the Deputy Township Clerk, who is here this evening, and we'll get ready for another one come June 2nd, another election. I just want to indicate that we talked about this at the last meeting. We are going to be moving a polling location for the June 2nd primary, and districts 1, 3, and 6 that have voted here in the lobby of Town Hall will be moved and voting starting at the primary at the community room at the brand new beautiful Maplewood Library. So there'll be a lot of social media, and the county will be putting out information as well. So we're excited about it. We wanted to do this, and we got approved. So voter registration deadlines, these are some important dates coming up. They'll all be on the website. The last day to register to vote is May 12th for the June primary. And mail-in ballots will be going out shortly. Well, they're going out. So it's recommended to do so online if you're interested in a mail-in ballot. And finally, preparing for Memorial Day parade and ceremony. And more information will be out there very soon. Thank you.
Any questions for Ms. Fritzen? Okay, thank you. Reports from elected officials. Committee member Jane Collins Colding.
Okay, our Arts and Culture Department was very busy this weekend. Hugo and Maxine exhibition film screening and conversation was a huge success. We had over 110 people arrive at the Woodland for the film. And 1978 Earth Day, the Garden State Art Weekend was a big success as well. We had 3 different artists showcase. The community workshop is still on view this weekend, the 25th and 26th from 2 to 5 p.m. And they have Bobby Fest on Sunday the 26th from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Woodland. And for our arts, not the arts, but our rec department we have the Release and the Rise Manifesting Meditation for Adults on Thursday, April 30th, which I think all the committee members need to take part in.
Oh, I like that.
At 7:30 on the 3rd floor at the Woodland, so you can sign up at the rec desk. And I just wanted to just quickly give a quick review on all the spring recreational program that we have coming up, or is open now. We have new field hockey, the new girls flag football, spring tennis begins this month, adult open gym basketball, MAPSO basketball for the spring, softball, soccer skills and scrimmage, parents and me soccer, parents and me multi-sports. So we have lots of programs that are open that you can go and sign up for. We have T-balls, we have track and field, we have squirts T-balls, so please sign up at the rec center. That is my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Committeewoman Adams.
I just have a reminder for everyone, we have some public meetings on Zoom. The links are on our website, I believe, for the redesign and plans for Prospect Street's paving redesign that's forthcoming. One of them is April 28th from 7 to 9 p.m. and the second one is May 4th from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. So go to the website, get the link for the Zoom, and join us for the public hearings so that you can see what the draft plan is, and so that the township engineer and the township can get input from the public as to particularly those stakeholders who live along Prospect Street. And that's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Herman.
Thank you. All right, y'all. We got just about a month until the pool opens.
How many days?
Oh, I didn't count. But look, it opens on May 23rd, which is the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. And I just want to point out that a lot of pools, well, I don't know a lot, but there are pools that open after Father's Day, and our pool opens on Memorial Day weekend. And this is a conversation I was having with our community services director, and she pointed this out, that we are really lucky. We are a really lucky town that our pool opens on Memorial Day, and we get to have more pool and earlier in the year. So I just want to, make sure everyone appreciates that, and I want to make sure everyone gets their early bird pool fees. You have until June 1st, so you have a whole month. There is no excuse. And I can't believe I'm encouraging you to do this, because this is the lowest price. This is the price. We haven't gone this low since 2012. And trust me, I would like more money in our budget, but I want you to get the best deal you can do. So get your early bird price by June 1st, so you can be ready and enjoy the pool all summer long. I want to tell you a few things that you can enjoy while you're at the pool. You can enjoy 30 new chairs. This is a very exciting thing. People often complain about chairs. We're going to have 30 new ones, okay? We're going to have 10 new tables. So those, the tables were kind of like, worn a bit. So they're going to be brand new. It's very nice. We have a very loud PA system. So there's been some complaints. People around the pool, they can't hear when they're going to do like a deep water test or whatnot. It's very loud, trust me. Winchester might get a little upset, but it's a loud PA system. You're going to be able to hear them. Our volleyball net is up. The pools have been power washed. They are currently being filled up by our well. We're being very sustainable here in Maplewood and saving money. So excited to share that tidbit. We have a ton of staff hired. Interviews are happening for others. We're in good shape. We're working on the schedule for swim lessons. This is going to be a great summer. From our rec committee, our fields have opened. Play has started. We had a wonderful softball, baseball parade this last weekend that we were all at. It was such wonderful coming together of both of our town and South Orange to celebrate youth sports. And as such, I am thrilled to announce that work is starting very soon in Memorial Park and at Maple Crest to get our ball fields ready. At Maple Crest, we're going to be doing a little more work on those fields. They've already have new backstops. It's looking gorgeous out there. Speaking of Maple Crest, we're going to be doing groundbreaking of our new inclusive playground there this week. Very excited about that. And at Borden Park, the new tennis courts just went in. So, guys, this is amazing. You can enjoy our parks, our pool, all of this good stuff. But this weekend, you know where we're going to be this weekend? On Saturday, we're going to be at DeHart Park for our health fair.
Yes.
This is amazing. The morning starts off with 2 classes. There's a Learn to Ride class and a Safe Bike Skills class. These are being done by Easy Ride, and they are both, unfortunately, they're both booked up. So there is a lot of interest, and we're very excited that they are booked up, and we're looking to bring Easy Ride back to offer these again because this was so popular. But there is, on our website and on our socials, the community health fair. There's a QR code and an email to Easy Ride if you want to get more information about their classes. But a lot of great things coming up, and I hope to see you out and about.
Great, thank you. Mr. Daffs, before you go, would you make a motion to go beyond 9:30?
I move that we extend our meeting beyond 9:30.
Second.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Daffis, your report.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple items. I have an update as it relates to the reinstall of our rainbow crosswalk at the corner there, the crosswalk at Valley and Oakview, which has become a landmark for Maplewood all these years. As everyone knows, all of the intersections along Valley from South Orange to Maplewood were part of a federal program, road program. The county has used federal dollars to come in and make improvements. Those improvements are ongoing. Not all the intersections are complete. And while we were hoping to reinstall the crosswalk before Pride this June, after a recent meeting with the county, I think we're going to have to push that back a little bit, but not by far. The county says that there is an inspection that needs to be done by federal officials before they can let us do whatever it is that we want to do, and they think that that inspection is going to happen in late July. They don't have an exact date, but it's not going to be until July, possibly late July. They do not recommend, because this is a federal funded project, to put in a rainbow there, not with this federal administration and how they feel about the LGBTQ community. Of course, we could do whatever we want, but they don't recommend it. I certainly don't recommend it. So we have two options. Well, three options. One, we can move forward, notwithstanding that advice. I don't think anyone on this committee is going to vote in favor of that. Two, we could wait until after the inspection and possibly aim to reinstall it and have a big community event in September when everyone is back to school and back from vacations. I recommend that approach. The third option is to reconsider location entirely to another place. One other possible location to keep it very central in town, as this intersection currently is to paint a rainbow on Oakview leading into Donnell. That's an option. Me personally, I want to keep what we have as a landmark, as it always has been, but I'm going to open it up for discussion to the Township Committee.
When do we have to decide this?
Tonight?
We do?
Because
you're looking to have this done, if we were to have the other, if it's on Oakview, will it be done before?
Oh, if we do it on Oakview, we can do that now. Like, we can move forward now because that is not it's not part of the federal project.
Right. Are we trying to get this done before Pride Fest?
Well, that was the intent, but we can celebrate Pride all year long, and we could do something in September.
And do we have an absolute, a clear direction from the county that they'll let us do this after it's done?
Yes, the county has said that after the inspection is over, they will allow us to do whatever we want to do there, including reinstalling the rainbow crosswalk.
Could we use washable chalk on the crosswalk for Pride, like, maybe as a temporary installation?
Yeah, could we save that question for later? Let's focus on the question of what we want to do.
Yeah.
Because.
So does anybody want to move forward on Oakview and Valley right now?
If the county, no, my position is if the county is absolutely sure that they will defend it, not only allow us, but to defend it, because with this administration, they're going to try to claw back money, potentially claw back money.
Right.
So if they're willing to do that, then I absolutely agree with you. It's best to put it there.
Right. So wait until after the federal inspection, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, way for sure, yeah.
Right.
I agree. I don't think it's worth rushing just to get it done in time for Pride. We could do something else, but this is more impactful.
Yeah, it's a superficial deadline to get it done by June, right? Anyone else?
Yeah, that was my opinion as well. What Ms. Adams said is, let's wait and be safe, and we can try and do something else for Pride.
There'll be a lot of Pride events that we're planning, so. Okay, let me move on. Our Community Board on Police, fingers crossed, will be going on the road all the way down to the League of Municipalities, hopefully. There's some interest. The Attorney General's office is looking to put out some guidance to municipalities to create community boards on police like we have. Maplewood is quite a model for suburban communities. We had engaged the Attorney General's office to come to Maplewood and meet with us during our retreat. But what has been recommended is to have a wider audience. And the League is a great place to meet with other municipalities and law enforcement officials. And earlier today, I placed a request to be on one of the sessions this upcoming League of Municipalities in November. We shall find out after Friday during their last planning meeting whether or not we're going to get one of those sessions, so fingers crossed about that. I have a public safety item that I hope members of the Township Committee who are liaisons to the South Essex Fire Department will bring to their attention next week when they meet next. I've gotten a couple emails from residents at the Gaslight Commons building in South Orange, including from my own mother-in-law, about very frequent false fire alarms at that property. Literally every month, and some months it's twice a month. And my question to our department is, what sort of jurisdiction do we have to engage with the management company that runs that property, or any property in our town as well, as it relates to fire safety, infrastructure, and so on and so forth. Certainly, every time the fire alarm goes off, we're required to respond. That's a lot of town resources that we're putting there. I don't know what the law is in New Jersey, but certainly in New York City, you are fined thousands of dollars every day, every time a false alarm happens, and you have to go before a judge and explain yourself. So I don't know if Mayor, if you have any idea what power we have.
Yeah, we could certainly bring it back. I'm not sure, because each town is responsible for their own fire official. What do you think? And each town also has a false alarm ordinance. We have an ordinance, false alarm with penalties, and I'm sure South Orange does too.
I think it will be in the code of the respective municipality.
Yeah, so we'll bring it back, and then we'll have that discussion at SEFD.
Right, so that particular building has a lot of seniors. And the second point that I want to raise for the department is their process with residents who need to be rescued who are immobile or have mobility issues. I have followed the process. I have spoken to the chief and the deputy chief on many occasions. I have, on the phone and by email, registered my mother-in-law, who uses a wheelchair, and there's a process by which people like her are rescued by fire personnel during alarms or during evacuations. But again, on more than one occasion, she and many others like her have wheeled themselves into the hallway, and they just sit there and wait for someone to come or to go up in a fire, not knowing what's happening. And I just think that we should figure out what that registration process is and what the follow-up is, and make it clear and make sure that it works each time.
Okay.
Clear? Great. And then lastly, I want to say that I had the opportunity to participate in a panel that several statewide groups, advocacy groups, put together recently in response to the Supreme Court's decision out of a Colorado case involving a Christian counselor asserting her rights to talk to their youth client about conversion therapy. The Supreme Court found Colorado's ban against conversion therapy unconstitutional and calls into question, therefore, 26 other states that have similar bans like New Jersey's. I'm engaged in advocacy with experts and other stakeholders to tighten up New Jersey's law because it is very alarming that this long since discredited harmful practice is resurging again. And I just remind everybody that even the strongest laws against this do not apply to members of the clergy who participate in conversion therapy outside of sort of the medical arena. Conversion therapy is abuse. It is not therapy. I'm a survivor of it. Whether it's just talk therapy or physical abuse by way of medical treatments, injections, or electroshock therapy, it has lifelong effects, and it has taken too many lives to suicide. And we must all stand against this and do whatever we can to ensure that we protect our youth from it. And to that end, I highlight an upcoming opportunity to engage on this issue and all issues of our youth's health and wellness. The New Jersey Advisory Commission on Advancing LGBTQIA+ Youth Equity and Inclusion in Schools is having its first open public meeting outside of Trenton on Monday, May 4th at Essex County Branch Brook Park. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. I will be forwarding information in social media on how to register for that. And it's the first time that the advisory board, it's a statewide advisory board, is appearing outside of Trenton, and Essex County, no surprise, being inclusive, is the first county to welcome them to offer public engagement. That is my report. Thank you.
Thank you. A few things I have. This Saturday we have a river cleanup, and that is happening over at the,
Thank you for reminding.
and it's happening at the river, believe it or not. And there'll be two areas, one at the Civic House on Dunnell Road, and the second will be at the student parking lot. Additionally, at the student parking lot on Parker, the Girl Scouts will be doing a cleanup and planting there starting at 8 a.m. So you can go spend your entire morning there if you'd like. Also, that Saturday morning at 8 a.m., as I mentioned before, we'll be giving away tree samples. Saplings. Geez, I'm losing it here. Tree saplings to the first, how many ever come in? I don't remember how many they give out. They give out quite a few, so. And you just drive in, we give you the sapling. So tomorrow we're going to be cutting a ribbon at Winchester Gardens for their one of their phases of work, and they're going to be announcing some exciting things going on. This Sunday at Borden Park, there'll be a Fix-A-Flat workshop for bikes from 11 to 12. And then at 12 o'clock, we will cut the ribbon for the Parker Avenue bike lane. And just a couple other items. We have been working over the last couple of years with the steam tank folks over at Maplewood Middle School. These are the kids who did the gate to help with the traffic control. And this year they took on a no idling project, and we provided them with an electronic sign. And they've reported today that there has been a 30% decrease in cars idling around the middle school.
That's great.
And they've asked us to, we told them we'd keep the sign for a month, but they've asked us to keep it to May 20th. So, if you could forward that to Mr. Kittner, I think it's well worth it. They're showing real results here, and I think it would be good if we could do that. And lastly, I brought up a few weeks ago the problem of mail service and the complaints we're getting from the community. So I did speak to Senator Booker's office, and they did contact the post office. And I don't know about you, but my mail has been coming earlier and every day. So
It is.
it's been good, and I've spoken to some of the folks who had experienced some problems, and they say it's much better. And the response we got from the post office was that they did route inspections, and they've made adjustments to schedules to improve delivery services so that carriers are reporting back before 7 p.m. and no mail is being returned to the office delayed. And they'll continue to monitor for accurate mail delivery. So thank you, Senator Booker's office, for helping us out on that. All right. Now we're going to move into the discussion items. We have 3. The first is the 2026 sewer fee, and this is for the sanitary sewer. This is a fee that we charge every year, and this goes to support the joint meeting, and that's where our trunk lines go to Elizabeth, and that's where the sewage is treated and then sent out into the waterways. And the Finance Committee has looked at the current fee, and Mr. Weary, what are we going to be proposing?
So there's 3 portions that make up the sewer billing in Maplewood. The first is the rate per dwelling unit, which covers the annual cost of the bills we receive from the joint meeting of Essex and Union County. Then there are 2 capital lines, a capital for improvements made by the joint meeting that they then bill to us separately, and capital improvements made by the township that we either fund through our operating budget or borrow money for. So currently, the most recent established rates were established in 2024. It was $224 per dwelling unit for the joint meetings annual bill, $37 per for joint meetings capital improvements, and $40 per for the Maplewood capital improvements. So residents receiving a bill received a total bill of $301. The proposal discussed at the Finance Committee was to increase the rates in 2026 to reflect increases in the annual bill we receive from the joint meeting. That has gone up 4.86% from 2024 through 2026, and increase the Maplewood capital improvement by the percentage that aligns with the increase in our capital budget for those years. So that's a total from 24 to 26 of 6.45%. If adopted, that would increase the rates for the joint meeting annual bill from $224 to $235. The capital improvement would stay the same at $37. We haven't had a new assessment on those, although I'll have a recommendation in a moment. And the capital improvement for Maplewood would increase from $40 to $42.60. The total bill would increase from $301 to $314.60. And then regarding the recommendation, I do suggest, and we had discussed in the Finance Subcommittee, taking time this year to look at all of the fees that are collected from our sewer billing and do a true up for the annual costs coming out of it. We've been making increases on a percentage, which will track well against actuals, but the sewer billing doesn't run as a utility, so each year we don't exactly balance our revenues and our costs because they're kind of buried into our operating budget. So, from time to time, it is a good idea to evaluate everything coming in and going out and making sure that they are true. And so I'd recommend we take on that effort this year.
So the immediate proposal is to go from $301 per year to $314, you said?
60 cents.
60 cents.
Correct.
And the bulk of that increase would go to the joint meeting, not the township. Is that correct?
That's right. 235 of that goes to the joint meeting. Well, actually, 235 plus the $37. So yes, the majority of it to the joint meeting.
Right. Okay. I think the Finance Committee was in recommending that. So are we okay to put that on for? Okay.
Very good.
Can you explain to everyone what the joint meeting is?
Yeah, so it's a joint meeting of Essex and Union County, and actually we have commissioners who serve from the Township Committee on that board who probably know more about the day-to-day, but generally it's municipalities that have joined together to collect and treat wastewater from those municipalities. And so they have trunks that collect sewage in Maplewood that they own are completely and entirely their responsibility at points, right? So it's not on every road, but some common areas. They have trunks that collect our sewage. The sewage flows to the joint meeting where it is treated so that they can then, pump it out as clean water. That's the short of it.
That's the short of it.
Yeah.
There are 11 municipalities, and it was actually started by a Maplewood South Orange person, elected official, before Maplewood existed, early 1900s. And most of the sewers that exist in Maplewood, these are the ones that run down the center of the street, not the ones on the side, the curb. That's the storm.
Stormwater.
So when you look at those manholes or those maintenance holes in the center of the road, that's your sanitary line. Yeah. And most of the pipes we own, those are on our streets. But then there are large trunk lines that go down things like Boyden Avenue and some of the bigger roads, and they go out to the joint meeting, which is in Elizabeth. And all this is a gravity system that flows out to that. And it's treated there 24 hours a day, 365 days. There's tremendous redundancy because the alternative to treating it is just to put the raw sewage out into the river and the bay and the ocean. So it's a fairly expensive process. And if you've ever been on the joint meeting, you just sit there and approve purchase order after purchase
That's all
order
you
after
do.
purchase
Yeah.
order
Yes.
for the weirdest things that you could ever imagine being named. all
And
these
you hear
different
the word
things.
sludge a lot.
Yeah.
All the time, yeah.
So that's what it is. It's every time we do our wash, we flush a toilet, we empty our sink, that all goes out to that system. It's a closed system, and it goes to Elizabeth.
And there's lots of different vats.
And that's what the majority of our sewer fees go toward.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's always just getting more and more expensive. I mean, it's a massive operation. I don't know if any of you have been to visit. It's pretty impressive.
And Mr. Weary mentioned the capital portion. When the joint meeting does a capital improvement, it then gets spread out to each town, each of those 11 towns, based on users.
Yeah.
Each town gets assessed by users.
I'll just say, as the one serving on the joint meeting right now, they have had several projects, capital projects that have been flood mitigation, environment related, and you can take a tour. It's a little smelly, but
It's a pretty cool
very
place.
interesting tour.
It's a pretty cool place, yeah.
Yeah, and we have a great director right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move ahead at the next meeting, introduction of that ordinance for the new sewer rate. Commercial property assessed clean energy, that's CPACE. This is a program that the state operates, and it was discussed at the Sustainable Maplewood meeting, and we had a representative from the Economic Development Authority. They're the entity that runs this. And this is to allow commercial properties to engage or to undertake environmentally related projects, clean energy, resilience. And then what they do is they go out to the private market and borrow money to make these improvements. And the town actually collects the payments through the assessment, through our tax collector. So we've had meetings with representatives from EDA and our tax assessor, representatives of EDA and our tax collector. We've talked about it in finance a couple times. There is an ordinance, which is a standard ordinance that our attorney has Maplewoodized it, I guess. In any event, we would like to put this ordinance forward. This is a voluntary program. If, again, it's for commercial properties, it can be for apartment buildings. Anyone who wants to do an energy efficiency, so it could be new boilers, it could be retrofitting windows, it could be a lot of different things. And I think even solar. So there's a lot of different things that it can do. And the rates actually get a little better than if you go out to just a strictly private market, because the lending institutions feel comfortable because the town is collecting the money. And if there's a default, we can do a lien on the property and all that. So there's a lot of protection for a lending institution. So they generally loan this at a little bit lower than just going out to the market.
And it's like, it's a no-brainer because it's encouraging green structures, green, initiatives being part of a development project or anything like that. And it doesn't, other than some administrative, it's not really a cost to the township at all.
Right. So if we're,
Mayor, to clarify on that point, to the extent that special assessment's not paid, the municipality is not required to pay over any funds it doesn't receive.
Right.
We're just going through the process, which is a little different from if we issue debt that's secured by special assessments. But, we have no exposure for unpaid special assessment.
Right,
and we can charge a fee up to, I think, $5,000
for administration.
for administration to cover our costs. Yeah. So if we're okay with that, we'll put it on for the next meeting.
Yeah, I heard the presentation in Sustainable, and I think this is a great program for our
Yeah,
town.
it really
Okay.
is.
All right, so that's another thing we're going to have on for next meeting. Lastly, the request for the Soma Shuttle Working Group. So there was a worksheet that was put forth. I had not seen this until about a little over a week ago, and then I met with Mr. Weary, and we talked about how to move this forward. There was some question of whether the two towns should have a presentation, but that does create issues, logistical issues. You have to have open public meetings, you have to have both clerks there and all this stuff. So our suggestion is to Mr. Weary and myself, and I also spoke to Deputy Mayor Herman on this. Our suggestion is to have them come to our meeting. What I would suggest, we have a few things coming up in our next couple of meetings. We have budgets and we've got affordable housing issues that are going to be addressed. So I would suggest we invite them to the June 3rd meeting, ask the working group to provide us with a revised proposal. This proposal, I think, is a little bit old. A revised proposal by May 15th, which we can then circulate to our professionals. I think we would want to have our engineers take a look at this, our attorneys, to make sure what questions we might generate, and then have them come in to make a presentation on June 3rd so that we could hear what they have to say, what funding, we heard potential funding, and then we can ask questions based on our own information that we've gleaned from this, and also what we've received from our professionals. So if that's okay, we will do that on June 3rd? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And follow that schedule? Okay. Committeewoman Adams, consent agenda?
Yes, Mayor, I'd move the consent agenda for passage.
I second that.
Okay, any discussion? I guess not. Call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Colding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, thank you. And now we're at our public comment on any subject matter. I believe someone's here to speak to us.
I live on Hickory Drive in Maplewood, and thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. I represent a number of Maplewood residents who are requesting that you develop guidelines for short-term.
Excuse me, can I ask you to speak into the mic?
Yeah.
There you go, perfect.
Start again or not?
No, go ahead,
Okay.
we got you.
Okay, thanks. So there are a number of us who are requesting that you develop guidelines for short-term rentals like Airbnb, VRBO, furnished finders, and we'd like you to do that as soon as possible. The World Cup is coming to New Jersey in June, and Maplewood needs to be prepared. As you may know, there are several houses within our community that are being used as short-term rental properties. Due to the nature of short-term rentals, people move in and out of these homes with great frequency, and neighborhoods are left concerned about their quality of life, noise, safety for our children and ourselves. At this time, Maplewood has an ordinance for rentals that includes property inspection prior to renting, fees, regulations, registration of landlords and tenants, etc. And I just gave Ms. Fritzen a copy of this, and it's referencing the Maplewood, New Jersey Code, Chapter 209, 2039. This ordinance does not specify short-term or long-term definitions. Other towns, such as Bradley Beach, have assigned the short-term rental issue by requiring the homeowner to report all short-term renters to the town. Some towns impose a fee per rental stay. Town inspectors are sometimes asked to monitor homes as required for long-term property rentals, 30-day minimum stays, or abolishing short-term rentals altogether. Please refer to HudsonCountyView.com, March 13th, 2022. Carney bans Airbnb and other short-term rentals ahead of the 2026 World Cup. We appreciate your providing us with feedback about this pressing issue. Please reach out to us if you would like any further input or information. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So just so the process, it's a little close because the World Cup starts on June 11th. There aren't really games here until July. It's would be a little tight to get us to adopt something before then, and I'm not sure, because we'd have to bring, so what we'll do is we'll refer this to the Code Committee. So the Code Committee will meet in May, and then they'll take a look. We'll have to look at some of these ordinances. It takes a little time to figure out whether or not it makes sense for us. Some of them are different, shore towns. Bradley Beach is a shore town.
But am I allowed to speak?
Yeah, you can respond.
Because
Just in the mic, though, you keep.
West Orange has codes for
Yeah.
short-term rentals.
Right.
Milburn has them. Short Hills has them. I mean,
So we'll take a look at
Summit
those.
has them, so
Yeah,
we'd like the same.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to address the township in the room here? Mr. Weary?
If anyone joining on Zoom would like to speak in public portion, please raise your hand now. I see 2 hands. Moving Julia Flath to panelist. Welcome, Ms. Flath. You may address the committee.
Hi. So I heard what you said about the June 3rd meeting, and I guess I'm just wondering a little bit more what this process would look like, because it's not all going to be figured out in, township committee meetings, right? So, is there a point where, there's opportunity to kind of hash things out in more detailed discussions? Because that's, there's kind of presenting the general idea and figuring out how to proceed. And then there's, going to be a lot of more detailed discussions about how to move forward with it.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that we would hear the presentation, sort of take a straw poll of the Township Committee about the interest in furthering the conversation, seeing where South Orange is at that time, and then maybe setting up a working group that was, I think you suggested putting together a working group of both towns. But I think we need to see what our interest is first, and what resources we have, what questions we might have, how it might impact services we're providing. Those are things that I think we need to hear from our professionals. So getting an updated proposal from you or report from you would be helpful, and then hearing from you and being able to do a little bit of give and take here. My assumption, is that we probably will want to have more conversation past June 3rd. How that gets put out, I'm not sure yet. I think that'll be part of what we'll talk about on June 3rd.
Okay. Thank you.
Moving over Ben Vitale to panelist. Welcome, Ben. You may unmute yourself and address the committee.
Thank you. That's so freaky when I disconnect and reconnect when you move me over. Last time we did that, I missed like 7 really important words. I still don't know what was said, but someday I'll follow up about that. Anyway, nice to see you all. Thanks for all your great work. Many things I could talk about, but I just wanted to spend 25 seconds tonight speaking in favor of this idea of a shuttle between our two towns. I think that's a great idea. I hope you look into it. I don't know if it's possible, but I know if it is, you guys will work hard to make it happen. I would use this shuttle. I'd pay good money to use it. I'd pay taxes, extra taxes to help make it happen. I travel between these towns almost every day, just like many people. I'm sure you know that. I mostly ride my bike actually, because we only have one car. And let's face it, let's be honest, it's my wife's car. So yeah, it would be really useful. My kid would use it too. Half the time I'm using my car, it's to taxi my kid around. So it'd be great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Anyone else?
If anyone else joining on Zoom would like to speak in public portion, please raise your hand. I see no hands, Mayor.
Okay. Can we get a motion to adjourn and reconvene on May 5th?
Moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Collins Colding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes. Thank you. Good night.